Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Cheap Property Spain podcast. My name is Chris. I'm the founder of cheappropertyspain.com and the person behind all those beautiful homes you see on Instagram and in our weekly email newsletter. I started Cheap Property Spain to make buying a home and moving to Spain more accessible to people all around the world. In this podcast, we interview experts such as real estate agents, lawyers, and expats who have already made the move to Spain. On today's episode, I sat down with David Vilar of Lexidy law firm. They're a legal team based in Barcelona that specializes in immigration, real estate, tax, and just about anything to help you get set up here in Spain. Since David's focus is immigration law, I took the opportunity to go in detail about the various visa options that are available to foreigners looking to live in Spain long term. We cover a ton of ground in this interview. Things like how to apply for a visa, how long the process takes, what the requirements are, and what the recently announced digital Nomad visa will look like. So if you've ever been curious about how to move to Spain legally, keep listening. Enjoy. All right, David. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me today and to talk about immigration. I'm really excited to dive in.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me. And well, it's a pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, before we get too deep in the weeds, would you mind giving everyone just a general overview of yourself, a little bit of background on who you are and the firm you work for?
Well, I'm David. I'm immigration lawyer at Lexidy Law Boutique. We are a law firm based in Spain, Portugal, and from a couple of months in Greece. Okay, and we basically have our scope of our services is legal services for foreigners. The 95% of our clients are foreigners who want to relocate to Spain, Portugal, or Greece. Okay, and we offer basically legal services regarding immigration, tax, corporate, and real estate. Personally, I'm based in Barcelona, in the Barcelona office and in the immigration department. So basically my day-to-day work is providing people who want to relocate to Spain, assisting them to obtain their visas, their residence permits, and everything they need in order to be regular residents in Spain, or once they spend a few years in Spain to be able to apply for the citizenship. And that's basically my job.
All right, that's fantastic. Are you from Barcelona originally?
Yes, born and raised from Barcelona, and yes, never moved from here. I spent some time in other countries studying and learning English in Ireland for a couple of summers. But yes, born and raised in Barcelona.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. It's an amazing city. So, all right, let's... I've spent a little bit of time myself researching, and I'm sure as anyone who has maybe at least Googled like how to get a visa for Spain, they probably very quickly realize that it's very complicated and there are many, many options. So I think it'd be wonderful if you could give us just a general overview of some of the most popular, visa options that foreigners apply for.
Yes, basically we have two main visas or residence permit that our clients prefer. Okay, first of all, it's the golden visa, which is focused for those who want to purchase a house, invest in Spain, and they decide to purchase a house of at least 500,000 euros, and they decide to relocate to Spain. The residence permit is the one that offers more advantages. Okay, because it is the only residence permit that allows the applicant, the resident in Spain, to not remain in Spain at least 6 months per year. So they can be in Spain only one day during the validity of the residence permit, which is 2 years, and then they will be able to keep renewing the residence permit. And this is our main service, but also there is another for not the ones that have that budget. That 500,000 euros. There is also the non-lucrative residence permit, which is a residence permit for those who have sufficient economic means. It's around 28,000 euros in a bank account and a health insurance policy, and they are able to come to Spain to basically for leisure purposes. Okay. And yes, that's the two main residence permits. There is also the highly qualified professionals, which is a residence and work permit for those who have university qualifications and want to and are hired by Spanish companies. But yes, I would say that these are the three main services that we offer and that we offer the most.
Okay, great. So the second option, so the non-lucrative visa, would that be the most common approach for someone who's looking to retire in Spain? Maybe someone
Yes.
who's, of retirement age and has like a pension or something?
Indeed, that's the main purpose of this residence permit. This residence permit, the non-lucrative visa, was established basically for retired people who want to return to Spain, people who has reached their retirement age and want to spend their last years of the last years of their life in Spain. However, since this is a residence permit, very abstract, very vague. This also this residence permit is also applied for those who maybe, for example, I have a client who is a health insurance broker and he just lives for the commissions he has, and they just come here to retire to be in Spain, living on their passive income. So, but yes, basically this is a residence permit focused for retired people.
And to obtain that permit, do people typically apply for it in their home country?
Yes, well, the main requirement to apply for the residence permit is applying from their country of origin or legal residence. Usually it's the same, but yes, this is the main requirement. There are some residence permit that allow you to apply from Spain, directly from Spain, but the non-lucrative residence permit is a residence permit that needs to be applied from the Spanish consulate or embassy at the home country of the applicant. It cannot be applied from Spain.
Okay, and then so then you guys, like you yourself, help people from, let's say, America apply for this permit in their consulate, their local consulate.
Exactly. We first of all, that because it's despite the law establishes some legal requirements or objective requirements, each consulate and each embassy has its own interpretation of the requirements. So each consulate and each embassy in every country in the world has its own interpretation of this law, these documents and the requirements to fulfill in order to be able to apply for any kind of visa. So first of all, we put in contact with these consulates and these embassies, and we inquire about which documents and which requirements do they demand for the applicant to apply for any visa. Then once we know, we inform our clients to which documents will they need, and then from there we start reviewing, we start gathering the documents, we start translating some documents, and then step by step we are gathering all the documents, and once everything is gathered, the applicant can attend the Spanish consulate or embassy to apply for the visa.
Okay, great. Does the applicant need to know where they're going to live? Like, do they already have to have an apartment figured out in Spain before they apply for the visa?
It depends on the consulate. On some consulates, for example, in the United States, in Miami, Houston, and Chicago, they ask you to at least say where are you going to reside. If in Barcelona, Madrid, Malaga, they ask you for example, Chicago and Houston, they ask you to provide with a 1-year lease agreement before relocating to Spain. And there are some other consulates, Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, that they do not care about where are you going to reside. So as mentioned, each consulate has its own interpretation and their own demands.
Yeah, of course. So it's complicated.
Yes, it's very complicated, and at some consulates it's more complicated than in others.
Of course, man, all the red tape. It's wonderful, but it's worth it once you get through it all.
Yes.
So I talk with a lot of people who maybe they work fully remote, but they're not of retirement age, and their whole goal is to not retire and basically to continue working maybe for a United States company or a British company or something, but their company allows them to work fully remote, as a lot of people do coming out of 2020. Is there a visa option that allows that kind of person to then live in Spain but not basically take a job from anyone Spanish?
Not yet. There is a law, a project of law, which is pending to be approved by the government, and we assume that it will be approved in the next 3 to 6 months, okay, which we will be called the digital nomad visa, our residence permit, a visa, which will be able to be applied either from the country of origin, from the home country, and from Spain as a tourist. During the 90 days, they can be in Spain as tourists, and they will allow the applicant to work remotely from Spain. And the only thing that they will need to show is a work contract and a letter from the employer saying that according to their job performance, they are allowed to work remotely. Okay. They also people who is a self-employed professional and they just need a laptop or a computer to work, and it doesn't care if they are working from, for example, the United States or from Spain. They will need to show some documentation. We still do not know which kind of documentation, because this mentioned it is not yet approved. Right. But if they are able to show that according to their job performance, they can work remotely, they will be able to apply for this digital nomads visa. For now, the only thing we can do is trying to apply for a non-lucrative visa. However, some consulates, when they see that the applicant perceives regular income coming from a job position or an economic activity, some of them are quite reluctant, and sometimes we have problems. So for now, we are in this impasse situation, and there is it is a bit uncertain, but in the next few months, probably we will be able to apply for digital nomad visas, and people who want to work remotely from Spain will be able to do it. Actually, we are one of the countries in the EU that still does not have the digital nomads visa, and we need this with urgency because we have a lot of people who is demanding for this service, and we cannot guarantee a success. And for now, we can only try the non-lucrative visa, and we cannot, as mentioned, we cannot guarantee the success. But in the next months, we will be able to do it, hopefully.
Okay, so good news. It's getting better.
Good news. Very good news.
Like. Yeah, so within 6 months or so, there might be an option available.
Probably by summer.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I know a lot of people who are now fully remote, and they're making great money, and they're just like, well, I'd rather not, live in the same town I've lived in for years. I'd like to go try Spain for a couple of years and live on the beach or something and work online. So that's great.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
So another situation I come across quite a bit is, so there's, as you may have seen, there's a lot of businesses for sale in Spain, in like a cafe or a bed and breakfast or something. And I talk with a lot of, especially Americans and Canadians, who would love to come to Spain and purchase one of those businesses and then, basically work, but they're technically entrepreneurs because they own a business now. Is there which visa would kind of fit that situation?
For business owners, okay, and directors and people who wants to set up a new project, a new company in Spain, there are two possibilities. There is the regular option, and there is the privileged option. The regular option is the business activity residence permit, and is a residence permit for those who own a company in Spain and want to come to Spain and direct that company. Okay, this is a residence permit that needs to be applied from their home country. Okay, and basically they will need to say that they own a company, at least the 25% of the shares of that company. Okay, and they want to direct that company. It can be a pre-existing company, okay, a company which has been working for a few years, okay, or it can be a new company that has not started the activity yet. In order to apply for this residence permit, the business activity one, they will need to show a business plan, okay, saying a document, saying, stating a financial plan, a marketing plan, their performance, how many people will they be employing, if any. It does not require that they will be employing some people, but they will need to more or less mention or develop how they will set up this company and how will this company work. Okay, and as mentioned, this is the regular option. There is also the entrepreneur visa, this privileged option, okay, which can be applied from Spain already, okay, and without the need to set up the company before applying for the residence permit. Okay, they can just say that they have a project which needs to be considered very interesting for the Spanish market because of the people that they plan to employ, the activity. Let's say that this company or this project needs to make a difference in Spain. It cannot be an ordinary restaurant, let's say. Okay, it needs to be an IT company, a scientific research center, something like this. Okay, and this residence permit that, as mentioned, allows the applicant to apply from Spain without having the company set up yet. They can say, I want to do this. If you allow me to do this project, I will be setting up the company and everything. But first, I need your green light. Okay, and this is a residence permit that offers a lot of advantages. For example, the business activity one, the ordinary one, let's say, in case that the applicant comes with their family, they will not receive a work visa. They will only receive a residence visa, a non-lucrative visa, let's say. Okay, the company and family members will be coming with a non-lucrative visa with the main applicant, and the main applicant will be the only one allowed to work in Spain. On the other hand, the entrepreneurship visa will allow the applicant and all their accompanying family members to work in Spain.
Okay. Wow.
And these are the main differences.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So there is an option available, but it sounds like you have to really have a lot of your ducks in a row before before applying and really make sure that, you know, this cafe in Tenerife for 40,000 euros is the actual, you know, business you want to pursue and apply for.
Exactly.
Okay. Very interesting. So another question I often get is, if there's a foreign person and they buy a house in Spain, how long can they stay in the country? Is there any kind of different visa option for like someone who owns a property, or kind of how does that work?
It depends. It depends on the residence permit they have. If they have purchased a house with a minimum value of 500,000 euros, okay, and these 500,000 euros have been transferred at the moment of the purchase, okay, so they do not have any mortgage on that house, they can apply for the golden visa. Okay, and as mentioned, the golden visa only requires you to be 1 day in Spain during the validity of all the residence permit, which is 2 years. On the other hand, if they purchase a house which does not have that value, they might need to apply for another residence permit, for example, the non-lucrative, a business activity, or another kind of residence permit. These residence permits, which are ruled on the regular, what we call the regular law, okay, the general law, okay, require the applicant to be in Spain and to dwell in Spain at least 6 months per year.
For the residence permit, at least 6 months per year they have to live in Spain. Okay, and then does that make their tax base in Spain as well?
Exactly. In order to become a tax resident in Spain, you need to be in, or let's rephrase this. If a person stays in Spain more than 183 days, they will become tax resident in Spain. However, in order to renew the residence permit, the immigration residence permit, they need to be in Spain 180 days. So if they are able to be in Spain 180 days or 81 or 82, they will be able to renew the residence permit without becoming tax residents.
Okay.
Then if they stay in Spain more than 183 days, they become tax residents and they will be able to renew the residence permit as well.
Right. So what about, is someone able to come to Spain on a tourist visa and purchase a property as a holiday home?
Yes, definitely. And they can apply for a golden visa within, if they are able to fulfill the purchase process and the immigration process in 3 months, they can come to Spain, apply for a golden visa, and just come back and forth from their home country as they will, on their will.
What if the property doesn't meet the golden visa requirements? Like, let's say it's only a 100,000 or 200,000 euro property.
Then in that case, they will need to stick to the 90 days rule. Right. And they will be able to stay in Spain 90 days out of 180.
Right. So basically, you can stay here for 3 months in every 6 month period or something.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Well, so it's available, but much better if you can stay here longer. Of course, you probably want to use your house more than 3 months a year.
We are having this matter a lot with British people who used to have a house in Spain. A lot of British people had a house in the Valencia zone and in the Malaga area. And they used to come here 6-7 months per year or 8 without the need of a residence permit. And now with Brexit, they need to apply for a non-lucrative visa or a golden visa. And they face the situation that they want to be in Spain more than 90 days out of 180, but not 6 months. They want to be in Spain, for example, from May to October. This is more than 90 days, but less than 6 months. And that's the situation we are facing. And we have a lot of clients or leads that contact us asking this: how can I be in Spain more than 90 days in a row, but less than 6 months? And the only option for now is the golden visa.
Wow.
Or applying for a non-lucrative residence permit every year, be able to be in Spain more than 90 days in a row, but then after 1 year, they may face the situation that they are not able to renew the residence permit because they have not stayed more than 180 days.
Ah, I see. So sometimes the only solution is to buy a bigger house, I guess.
Yes, or renew or apply for a new non-lucrative visa every year, which is the best scenario.
No, man, I'm sure those British people didn't vote for Brexit then.
Yes.
Wow. So that's actually a great segue to my next question, because I wanted to ask you, are there any special situations for people from specific countries that might make it easier to apply for a visa or citizenship, something like that?
Let's say that in order to apply for a residence permit, okay, there are 2 groups, EU and non-EU citizens. EU citizens can come to Spain, and if they will just need to show 7,000 euros in a bank account or an employment contract, okay. And then non-EU citizens will need to show, in order to apply for the non-lucrative residence permit, 28,000 euros or the golden visa, or be highly qualified. So let's say that EU citizens have the possibilities to apply for a residence permit are much more easy, okay, than non-EU citizens in order to apply for a residence permit. Then for the citizenship, there are, let's say that there are 2 kinds of countries, because in order, as a general rule, in order to become a Spanish citizen, you need to have a residence permit for at least 10 years. Then you will be able to apply for the Spanish citizenship after having passed a couple of exams, basically language and culture. Okay, but as a general rule, they need to be in Spain 10 years. However, citizens coming from what we call Ibero-American countries, for example, basically it's Puerto Rico, Central and South America, okay, and also the Philippines, they can apply for citizenship after 2 years.
Wow, that's great.
Yes. Also, they can apply for the citizenship after 1 year. Those who were born in Spain, and those who are married to a Spanish citizen can apply after 1 year.
Okay, yeah. So there's some quick paths if you hold citizenship from one of the former Spanish colonies. Yeah, I was talking to some people who are from the Philippines, and within a couple of years they plan to apply for citizenship. So that's great. Does Spain have anything like I know in Italy you can apply for there's basically citizenship by blood, by ancestors. Does Spain have anything like that? Like if you have great grandparents or something that were from Spain?
Yes, we have, but it's not like in Italy, because I don't know which rule do they have in Italy, but there are a lot of Italian citizens who were not born in Italy because they had ancestors in Italy. In Spain, we have 2 options in this case. Let's say that those who are the grandchildren of Spanish citizens can apply for citizenship after having resided in Spain 1 year. Then those who want to apply for citizenship straightforwardly without having to relocate to Spain first can do if their parents, their father or mother, were born in Spain. This is the only option.
Okay, so you have to have much closer ties to a more recent relative from Spain.
Exactly.
That makes sense. Yeah, the Italian one, it goes back to the great grandparents as far as, so it's quite a different process.
Yes, we have a lot of Argentinian, Uruguayan clients who have Italian passports. They do not know a word of Italian, but they have Italian passports.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
Yes.
Well, great. One more question about some more specifics is the student visa process. So you meet a lot of people who they're interested in maybe coming to study in some capacity. What are the options like for a student visa?
The student visa is one of the few residence permits that can be applied from Spain. As mentioned, you can always apply for a student visa from your home country at Spanish consulate or embassy as the rest of the residence permit, but the student visa offers the option to be applied from Spain if you do it before entering. This is a very specific wording: before entering into your last 60 days of legal stay. So if you come to Spain as a tourist and you decide to remain in Spain under a student visa, you will need to apply for the student visa within the first 30 days that you can be in Spain as a tourist.
Basically, as soon as you get to Spain, you have to apply.
Exactly.
For it then.
Exactly.
Right.
You need to come to Spain with having in mind that you will be applying for the student visa and bringing all the documents that you need. You will need probably to bring some documents from your home country. So if you plan to do it, you need to move quickly.
Yeah, of course.
And also the student visa is a residence permit or is a stay permit. So this is a thing that not a lot of people knows, that the student visa is not considered a residence permit. Okay? In Spain, we have like two classifications on your staying. Okay, you can stay in Spain or you can reside in Spain. You stay in Spain, for example, if you're a tourist. You're in Spain if you are studying in Spain, you have a student visa, but you are not residing, which means that first of all, if you come to Spain, for example, under a non-lucrative visa, after 1 year, you will be able to switch into a work permit. If you find someone willing to hire you can switch your residence permit. And when it comes the time to renew the non-lucrative, you can switch into a work permit. However, with the student visa, since this is not a residence permit, but a stay permit, you cannot switch.
Okay. Are you able to work on a student visa at all? Like as an internship or anything?
You can do an internship if, let's say, if in the program of your studies, one of the subjects is an internship, you can do it. If not, if you can properly work, okay, not as a part of the studies, if you can properly work and have a salary and so, you will need to ask or apply for an authorization, okay, in front of the immigration office, saying that you want to work, and this job position can be up to 20 working days, 20 working hours per week. And you will need to state, or you will need to demonstrate that this job that you want to work and you are applying for is related to your studies and will not interfere with your studies. So if you are studying from 9 to 5, you will need to find a work which allows you related with your classes, with the subject, and for example from 6 to 8 or 6 to 9. So it cannot interfere, and you need to ask for an additional authorization. So it's not that easy.
Right. Yeah, of course, that makes sense. So you can work, but it's slightly discouraged.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course. So with any of these visas, I'm sure it varies based on many factors, but how much time should people estimate when they're planning to apply for any of these visas, the non-lucrative, the golden visa? You know, roughly how long does it take before you submit the application and then actually obtain the authorization to live in Spain?
As always in the in the legal sector, it depends.
Of course.
So, for example, for the golden visa, the entrepreneurship, this residence permit that I mentioned to you before that follow a privileged route, the resolution is granted, or the resolution needs to be issued by the Spanish administration after 20 working days if you apply from Spain, or after 10 working days if you apply from the consulate. If the Spanish administration does not respond or does not issue a resolution within these days, your application is considered as granted.
Wow.
Okay, so we punish the inactivity of the administration in this privileged route. On the other hand, for the non-privileged route or the ordinary route, the Spanish administration usually has 3 months to resolve, and if they don't do it, your application is considered as denied. However, according to the law, the Spanish administration it is mandatory for the Spanish administration to always issue a resolution. It can come after 6 months, or after, for example, in some regions of Spain, Brexit applications. Okay, there was established like a specific residence permit application for British citizens before 2021. Okay, so we needed to apply in 2020. And there are, in some regions of Spain, we still need to receive a resolution. So after 1 year and a half, we are still pending to receive resolutions on Brexit applications, and they are considered as denied. But since they always have the duty to issue a resolution, this resolution can be granting. So we are still in this limbo, and we still do not. It can be possible that they issue a favorable resolution, and despite having wasted that much time, finally you end up receiving a favorable resolution.
Wow. So but it really does depend.
20 working days for the privileged regime and 3 months for the non-privileged regime.
Okay. Well, that's not so bad. That's a great general rule to follow, I think.
Yeah.
All right, great, David. Well, that is all the questions I have for you today. This was fantastic. I think this was a great introduction for anyone who's looking to, even thinking about retiring in Spain, moving to Spain, coming here to work. Thank you so much for being here and for breaking this down for us. Yeah, if people wanted to get in contact with you, how would they do that?
They can contact us through our webpage at lexidy.com. And if they want to relocate to Spain, they will be able to find there a form to send us an inquiry, and we will reply them. We always have the rule to answer all our contacts and reply all our emails within the next 28 hours. So 24 hours, excuse me. And we will be glad to reply them, or if not, they can contact me directly at david.planes@lexidy.com.
Okay, fantastic, David. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chris.